Sam, what do you make of that one? You were with them until probably midway through the final term. How do you see the game?
It's a missed opportunity. I'm not sure. Being with them was not really how I saw the game. I think, we had a lot of opportunities. We really, particularly in the second quarter, we just couldn't make the most of them. We really felt like playing some good footy, especially against, I think centre bounce hurt us today. I think it was 9-18. So that gives them first look at it, for the majority of the time. And when you have that, normally you lose the inside 50 count. But we actually were able to get the ball inside 50. We just couldn't capitalise on our chances. 28 scoring shots and 3 or 4 other misses. So, and their conversion won them the game really. So, disappointing.
What hurts you more, Sam, the centre bounces or the fact with set shots, for example, they kick 11-1 to 7-1?
Very similar. I think the set shots we've done, if I had the pre-season again, I wouldn't change how much goal kicking we've done. We've done a huge amount. So I don't think that's, maybe I'm tempting fate here, but I don't think that's going to be a pattern. I think a lot of the players who miss some shots on goal are beautiful shots. Marbs misses a couple that he would kick, and he's an absolutely beautiful shot at goal. I don't think too often in Luke Bruce's career, I think he went goalless, and I don't know how many points he had, 2 or 3. I think the Wiz has 0-3, all reasonably tough shots from him. But I think they're all doing a lot of work on it, and I don't think it'll be a pattern. I've got confidence in the work that they've done.
You must be quite happy in terms of that forward line, seeing it gel so quickly, getting those 28 shots on goal.
I still thought the connection wasn't great. The marks inside 50 were not in great spots, a lot of wide, difficult shots. And some missed opportunities with our, I think every club would love perfect mid-forward connection, and we had 57 inside 50s, which is a good. It's not fantastic, didn't hit it out of the park, but it's a good number. It's enough to kick a bigger score than we did, and that's one of the troubles we had last season, was how can we find a way to score. Today we found ways to score, they just weren't goals.
You mentioned centre bounce, obviously a lot of their scores did come from stoppages. Is that something you'd like to look at further next week?
Yeah, centre bounces gave them the field position, and then I think the stoppage scores were significant in their favour. It was not particularly a pattern. I think we had our hands on it first, so don't want to get too technical, but centre bounces, I think we win the first possession, so we actually get our hands on it more than they do, but they end up doubling us for clearance. So whether that's ball handling, being a bit too cute with it, trying to get perfect play too much, all those things we'll continue to learn from. I think the thing to take out of the game is there was some positives. We just weren't quite good enough to execute the plan to a high enough level often enough. I couldn't question how hard the boys worked. I think if you came to this game and you watched it live, you watched the work rate of our players and said they are enormously invested in what they're trying to do. And, we had the majority of the players cramped. Poor old Marbs could hardly move. We ended up tried to keep him going in the last quarter, but he just couldn't move at all. So ended up having to sub him off. And but we had so many players in that position. And so did Essendon. And I was really proud of the work ethic that the boys put in. We just weren't quite polished enough.
Someone who did reliably hit the scoreboard was Dylan Moore. He obviously had a difficult pre-season. How do you see his performance today after that glandular fever? Yeah,
the boys talked about him after the game, about how, I guess I'm really proud of him. He kicks 3 straight, and his work rate is enormous. We kept his game time down a little bit today, but he, I think when it came to this week, I just knew that he would make the right decision of whether or not he could play. He'd been, medically, they're not sure with it. You can't test for glandular fever really and how recovered they are. So we really had to trust him, and I was really proud that he was able to put in such a strong performance today.
Speaking of work rate, Masso D'Ambrosio, he was working back into the defensive 50, working along the wing as well. How did you see his first game in Hawthorn colours?
Yeah, it was been a nervous week for him, obviously playing against his old side, and I think when you think of Massimo, you really think of his work rate and his skill level, but I was really pleased with some of his tough moments. I thought he had a couple of aerial contests where, I was sort of saying, well, not sure you're gonna walk out of that one, but I was really pleased that he was able to have a strong performance in his first game in the brown and gold.
How much are Hawthorn fans going to enjoy Ginnivan and the Wiz getting to work? Because there were some pretty exciting signs today of what might become an attraction, Sam.
Yeah, I think everyone can see the plan. You know, you can see what we're trying to build. It's been a couple of years that we've been trying to build this foundation that will springboard us into September action. And, you know, we knew there'd be some missing parts to what we wanted to do once we stripped the list back and adding excitement into the front half. You watched the finals campaign of last year, and the small forwards were the difference in a lot of games, and that's going to be us, and they're going to be the guys that are going to take us there. But we need to be more consistent across the ground, across four quarters, in front of the goals, from centre bounce. We can't afford to give up goals in our D50 with our own ball use. Once we get all those things right, I think you see where we're heading and what we're working towards, and certainly Guinea's going to bring a level of excitement to the rest of the team, and the Wiz is not going to be far behind him.
Is Josh Weddle's attack out of the back half a big part of that too?
Yeah, I mean, I think the pieces of the puzzle are slowly coming together, and you know, I don't know who you guys will put in your best players for tomorrow, but you know, it's a vast array of different types. You know, whether that's the small forwards or whether that's Josh Weddle with his run off half back, or you know, Blake Hardwick's done the whole pre-season as a forward, and he goes back, and I thought he did a fantastic job, saved us on numerous occasions today. So yeah, there's different roles for different players, and we're continuing to build them up to be at a level where we compete against the best teams, and today was an example to show that we're not there yet.
They clearly had a plan for Sicily. How important was that he, you know, Wealthy put work into him, and the skipper wasn't as we know him usually.
Yeah, I mean,
judging to a high standard.
Yeah, I mean, we hold Sis to an enormously high standard, and I think he was still solid for us today. He perhaps didn't have the offensive threat, but he's a defender. So first and foremost, he's a defender, and I thought he defended really well today, and he wasn't able to have his usual offensive impact, and some of the other players ended up having that. But you know, we lose centre bounce 9-18, and we have 57 inside 50. Something was going right with the offense out of the back half. To get those numbers, and normally if you have a game like that, you think, oh well, James Sicily must have been dominant today, and so that does show a small step forward for us.
Speaking of defenders, Sam Frost is one who polarises Hawthorn supporters. What do you think of Frosty's game?
I mean, I think with Frosty, it's always difficult being an undersized key, and I thought, you know, I think the first thing that you want to say as a Hawthorn fan is no one works harder on their craft than Frosty, and the thing with him is, I think there's a level of frustration amongst our fans that he gives up goals in offense, and he didn't give up any today. So hopefully that you know, that's a step forward for him. He knows he needs to be consistent in that manner, and you know, I didn't think he was well beaten. I thought he had, you know, I mean, Wright kicked the goal from sort of 55 out near the boundary, and if you're giving up those marks, you know, sometimes you're just too good. But I thought Frosty was pretty good today.
Everyone had a great game as far as his midfield efforts.
Who was that one? Sorry, I missed it. Whoops, yep.
Yep, had a great game as a midfielder. What else did you see in the midfield that had some deficiencies or things we needed to work on we didn't execute?
Yeah, I mean, I think we probably would have been in a bit of trouble without Warps today, because he just had that real physicality about his game that we needed, and we weren't able to produce it often enough. And you know, I thought Warps was really good around the ball today. I mean, I think their structure, you know, was a bit different to some other, you know, we only played the Bulldogs in the pre-season, so their structure was a little bit different, and we got some good looks from around the ground stoppages. We just weren't able to capitalise on it going forward, but the midfield battle will continue to be what changes a lot of games.
Any injury concerns out of the game? Did Jack Ginnivan have a bit of a knock in the third term?
No, I don't think so. I haven't had the medical update just yet, but I don't think we've got any. Normally they come and grab me pretty quick if there's something wrong, so I don't think so. I think we'll be okay, and you know, we got 7 days. We get back here again and put on another performance.
Thanks.